Is it possible to get a good UFO video with your phone?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you've got the wherewithal to pull your camera out, please do. The new chips on most cell phones capture really well at night, and you don't even have to go in and adjust settings. I'm able to film the stars all the time with my cell phone. Absolutely.
So you don't recommend people, or not that you don't recommend, but you're basically telling people, look, you don't need to go spend a ton of money on camera gear unless you're wanting to do this seriously. I mean, your phone will work.
100%, especially the photograph mode, because it pauses the shutter speed sometimes and gives you a nice long exposure, and it'll give you a really good night capture.
When you are out in the field, what time of day do you prefer to go out there? Do you prefer the nights because it's easier to see things move, or do you like do you like it better when you're getting daytime action?
That's a great question. Well, depending on the location, I try to have gear there 24/7 during the time that we're investigating that location. So whether it's me or a team member or just remote gear, I try to keep it covered with camera or gear or radar, or at least a few of those all the time while I'm there. So that if there's anything that happens during my time, I can compare it to and the other thing is I go to the same locations annually around the same time of the year, try to get repeatable data as well at those locations. So yeah, anytime and all the time, I think is important.
What about going to the same location over and over, like I'm doing with Flight 21, or let's say you have a special spot where you're able to see UFOs. Do you think you should go to your own hotspot? Because sometimes we create our own.
Yep, that's exactly right. Um, and your own home could be a great place to start from. If you've got a nice clear spot, you've got a good view of the sky, set up a camera right there and start viewing. I use one of the cameras from my home security system, and I just aimed it up. So when I scroll through, I've got all of my security cameras, and then one camera is just aimed at the sky. It's pretty low tech, I'm probably at 1080p, but it's just one eye on the sky. And I have captured interesting things right there from my home security system. So you don't have to spend a lot. Sometimes you don't have to spend anything. Just redirect your current tech.
What's the best UFO footage you've got?
I think Moon Lake, Utah, with Tom King and my crew. We captured something that we literally had set up our cameras, and we were looking at a mountain range in multiple spectrums. We were all prepared. I literally was pointing to the location that I was focused on, and no sooner than I pointed, then boom, a small craft shot across the mountaintops and then up into space. Something that I've never seen before nor since. And we captured on multiple cameras. I had my psionics footage, which was probably the best because I saw it in real time and I was able to follow it. So sometimes it's just being at the right place at the right time with the right gear and the right people. That footage, when you zoom in on it, you can see that it's actually a formed craft that is shooting across the sky and then out into space. And then actually after it's gone, there's a flash. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's a meteorite, or that's potentially, I forget the term, but it's basically a meteor that goes out instead of down. But not only is that rare and there is a flash, but you're not able to film them. They're very, very rare. And so in a multi-spectrum camera, I would not be able to see what I was seeing. So I think that's probably one of my top 5. And I do have 5 that I'm pretty happy with.
Do you think the truth will ever come out about UFOs? We see so much hype about it right now in the disclosure movement. What do you, as somebody who's trying to get the film, the footage of these things, think about all of that?
I do think that the truth is going to come out, but it's not going to be from the GOV in any shape or form. It's just not something that they're serious about, even though they seem to be. You know, they love covering their real tech with this topic, and they're not in a rush to really debunk it. So I don't look for that kind. I think it's going to come from individual, independent researchers. You know, like Tom King, or like anyone that's out there doing the actual boots on the ground research. There's Tedesco brothers. Let's hope those guys do it. Like I'm not picking a side or a team or anything. I do think it's going to come from independent science, though, because our current science isn't going to explain it. And if you expect to use the current technology to capture it, not going to happen.
So you think what we're seeing right now out of this whole blustering act of UFOs and disclosure, you know, the advent of aliens.gov that could launch any day here, you think that's just all kind of a blockage on what is really being hidden?
No, I think that they're going to show us up to 46 videos that they consider UFO. And I find that's probably going to be legit. Now, is it actually UFO? That's a whole nother thing. It's more than likely what they're considering UFO, which, as we know, includes drones and balloons and plasma and things that are in the gray box for us at this point. But there's nothing that they're going to show us that's definitive to alien life visiting us, which is the real question I think we're trying to get to. And I don't think that, you know, short of them being real with us on, you know, what happened at Roswell, perhaps, you know, they'll be like, there were cases and here's what happened with that. That's great. But, you know, unless they're going to show us something evidentiary, it's not going to move the needle. And I don't really think they're going to do that. It's all mythos. So, like I said, I'm hopeful, but I have leveled expectations.
A lot of people have been saying recently, kind of off the air, that they are hoping that this could be the end all and be all one way or another, that if this UFO/video drop/alien.gov is a flop, that this could be the end of the government's pursuit of disclosure, you know, because they're going to say, well, we've already done it. Look at the websites we created. Look at what we've shown you guys. This is more than you've ever got. And they're going to leave it like that. Redacted videos, short clips, grainy clips, you name it. Do you think if this drop that's allegedly going to happen, if it's disappointing, that this could be the beginning of the end of the disclosure movement?
No, not at all. Not at all. This falls right into line as being success for the disclosure movement, in everyone's opinion. This is huge. And I didn't want to minimize that with my previous answer. This is still huge. The fact that they're even talking about this as a real topic is phenomenal. That's not something that I ever thought of as being a reality for any form of GOV. So